Hey everyone, finally it decided to go live. That was quite a delay. I'm Neil, and this is the Two Black Eyes podcast with our new motto, the show must go on. So today you only have me and Shelly.
Woohoo! May the force be with you.
That's right.
The one
And
thing I know.
unfortunately, as we're recording, May the 14th be with you.
Terrible.
It's
Clever.
terrible. I really should have thought to try to schedule this on May 4th, and we actually could have made that joke. But in reference to May the 4th be with you, this movie, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, the episode 8 out of the whatever you call what it will eventually theoretically be a 9-movie story arc. I don't know. The third of the trilogies. And something I had not watched it until this week because I gave up on Star Wars in the theater. I just gave up on it, but I figured I still kind of want to see it, and I might as well watch it on whatever, DVD or streaming or whatever. So it was my choice of movie. I'll do the quick summary real quick, and then I'm going to get Shelly's impressions, because here's the interesting part. I've seen every Star Wars movie, and she has seen no Star Wars movies. So if you've seen this movie, and I hope you have, otherwise some of this probably won't make any sense, you'll know that's really incredibly difficult to jump into this movie cold. It is not structured for that. It is really just, it literally picks up like at the very end of the last one. And there's a lot of characters. So anyway, Rey is like returning Luke Skywalker's lightsaber on the Jedi island he's on. He's like, I don't want to train you, blah, blah, blah. I'm still not training you. Okay, I'll give you a couple lessons. Meanwhile, the Rebel Alliance is in trouble, and their ships are getting shot at by they were like escaping a planet, and then the Empire shooting at them, and they somehow get a distance away that Empire can't close the gap, so they're basically shooting at them the rest of the movie, but far enough away that it doesn't destroy their shields, so they can keep going. But for the first time in Star Wars history, I actually do not know this as canon. Someone can probably comment and yell at me. They were running out of fuel. I don't know. That never seemed to be a thing in no other Star Wars movie has ever hinged on fuel. I guess I assume it exists. I think maybe in some of the RPGs I played, there is a fuel concept. I don't know. Anyway, they're running low on fuel. They can't jump to light speed because the Empire can track them somehow. So there's a bunch of plans to try to like circumvent that. Turns out it doesn't really work super well, and they end up getting to this planet that they were near anyway that had a rebel base, and then that turns out not to be a great plan because they're kind of stuck there, and the Empire, along with Kylo Ren, has like these cool, badass looking AT-AT walkers shooting at the thing, and then they have a battering ram cannon, which, great name, because that's a stupid name for it. Like a battering ram cannon doesn't really, it's either a cannon or a ram, anywho. And then Luke Skywalker does some magic, and it lets them get away. The rebels get away, and Kylo Ren's like, now I'm in charge. That was a little before that. And then that's basically it. The rebels are still alive. There's some of them alive still. The Empire has apparently lost some big ships, but that's about it. Oh, and the rebel fleet's pretty much destroyed. So that was pretty much the movie. If I missed anything, let me know. Otherwise, what did you think?
Well, I was pretty lost. So my knowledge of Star Wars before this, just from general pop culture and people trying to talk about it over the years, was there was this gorilla guy. So I knew
Great.
he was a character.
Good start. I think technically people describe him as more of a dog man, but let's go gorilla. Chewbacca, yeah.
Chewbacca made no sense to me. Like, he doesn't have words, and I don't really understand his purpose.
Yeah, he doesn't talk. He is one of the characters in Star Wars. That's kind of a running thing with all of the good Star Wars movies. So let's ignore the trilogy in the middle, the prequel trilogies, which are complete and utter garbage and should legitimately be wiped from everyone's knowledge and the existence from the universe, because they're a travesty and an atrocity against humanity, in which those aliens, there's like no alien that speaks an alien language in those trilogies. But in the original one and in these movies, aliens will say things in alien language. So Chewbacca is speaking, but they can't speak English, or basic is what it's called in Star Wars, at all. Like, they can't make those sounds, but they do speak a language. And so a lot of people can translate Wookiee into
Wookiee. Okay, that's what he is, a Wookiee. Okay.
Into English. So he's speaking words, and like Han Solo in the movies that Han Solo is in, like Chewbacca like always yells stuff, and he responds, movie magic, but he like explains what he's saying basically by responding in a way that kind of repeats the question back to him. So
clever.
He'll be like light drive, but the light drive's broken, like that sort of stuff. And then then Chewbacca's like, oh, and then he's like, oh, you're so negative, that sort of shit. Same thing with droids. R2 does the same. R2D2, he only speaks in beeps and boops, but Luke can understand him, and a lot of other people apparently.
Now, R2D2 was that little robot with the head, the spinning head?
No, that was BB-8. Was the one that was the two balls on top of each other. R2D2 was the one with Luke Skywalker that looks like kind of like a big trash can, but not as much of a trash can as some other droids in the series.
Alrighty, well, then I've gotten the robot straight.
Yeah.
So I knew there was obviously Princess Leia and a Luke and a Han Solo, and I didn't know who was the brother and who was the lover. I'm guessing from this movie, Luke and Leia are brother and sister.
Yeah.
And Han Solo is her lover. Is that right?
Yes. But in the first movie, Luke and Leia made out before they knew they were twins.
Oh, dear.
It got scandalous.
I never knew that.
Yeah, they were separated at birth, and Luke was taken to Tatooine to live with his aunt and uncle, which is like a tiny desert planet, literally in the middle of fucking nowhere, so no one would ever find them. And Leia somehow got to be princess of one of the most well-known rich planets in the galaxy, so people wouldn't find her? I don't know what the reasoning ever was between why Leia also didn't get put in some bumfuck Shitsville in the middle of nowhere, but
hide her in plain sight. Like,
yeah, hide her as the most important delegate outside in the Republic. Who knows? It was brilliant in their strategy, I guess. I don't know. I don't actually. There's probably some reason for that in a fucking comic somewhere. Guys, don't write me about it. I don't care. Right?
So maybe when people go missing from now on, we should check the royal family and make sure they're not being married in there.
Yeah, check and see. Next time you're like the one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy, like the one of the last of this very special telekinetic telepathy bearing peoples goes missing, see who the royal family adopted, because it's probably them. I mean, no one noticed that they just adopted this kid out. Anyway, whatever.
They probably wouldn't. I mean, like the main ones, no, but like Princess Beatrice or Princess Eugene, like people barely know who they are.
Well, yeah, I have no idea who they are.
Exactly. So they could probably get away with adopting.
They could adopt anyone they wanted. I'm pretty sure though she was like, it would be like the King of Earth showing up with this baby. And then Darth Vader and the Emperor, who have taken over the entire galaxy with strategy and cunning, and murdered all of the Jedi except Luke and Leia and Yoda and Ben Kenobi, and then a bunch of others that somehow managed to eventually appear in books and shit. That's no longer canon, guys. Somehow are like, wow, we really got to find those kids. I got to find my kids somewhere. But Tatooine's really far. I never go out there. I won't sense him there. But like, Leia was literally like on the same ship as Darth Vader, and he had no fucking clue that that was his daughter. So I feel like someone overlooked something.
Okay, so that explains why Leia's son, Kylo, is that the guy that looks like Marilyn?
Kylo Ren, yes.
Yes, all I could think was Marilyn Manson. Like,
he does kind of look like Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, I thought that that's who he was emulating, but apparently not. I guess he's just that guy from Girls. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, okay. Anyways, him. So that's why he's because he's Darth Vader's grandson, technically.
Yeah, technically. And like, yeah, basically he's like, I'm going to finish what you started and be like the dark side. So Jedis are like, if you're good, then you're a Jedi, and if you're evil and, give into your, essentially it's like if you give into your emotions, eventually you're going to be like filled with rage and it destroys you and everything around you, but you get a lot more powerful. So he chose the dark side.
Ah, okay.
And that's like Snoke was a Sith. So when you're bad, you're a Sith and not a Jedi, but that doesn't really matter. That never really got talked about until like the prequels anyway. I don't think the original movies ever mentioned Sith.
So the original movies, there was only 3 of them, correct?
Correct, yes.
So this whole culture was built on 3 movies? This whole phenomenon, this whole
3 movies.
Literally built on 3 movies.
Yeah, it'll be built on 3 movies until, Jesus, what was it, like the 2000s?
Yeah.
And then there was like a bunch of comic books, and they tried to do some other series and stuff. And a lot of people wrote novels that were official. And then, they did the prequels where instead of having like a human being write and direct them, with George Lucas just kind of giving them ideas, George Lucas wrote and directed them. And it basically turned into a 12-year-old fanboy's fantasy movie where it barely made any sense. The dialogue was crushingly awkward and clumsy, and no one talked like an actual human being. They talked more like what a teenager thinks people in love say or do. And it's like a guy who's never made out with a girl, essentially trying to have a love story and then also blow shit up and make a fucking 2-hour-long action figure commercial. So that's those are the second trilogy. God awful. That's explaining how Darth Vader came about.
Oh, okay.
So, and then this one's after Darth Vader has died, and then Luke Skywalker has disappeared, and so here's where I should probably go back and watch episode 7. So they're all like the first trilogy was episodes 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3 were the prequels. Those were the shitty ones, and then 2000s, and then these are episodes 7, 8, 9. I was pretty sure in episode 7 that the Empire wasn't doing great. Like the rebels kind of like had built a republic again, so instead of it being like a dictatorship, it's like we destroyed the Nazis, and now all the planets each have like, we're part of a republic, and there's a galactic senate again where they each have representatives, and we all debate and have law and order, and it's not like, oh, maybe or you all die. I was pretty sure like they were like pretty set up. And then nothing happened to explain why that would change at the end of the episode 7. They actually blew up the Empire's super weapon. Don't get me started. We could do that movie sometime. But the fact that the Empire has built 3 separate planet-destroying devices that are the size of a planet that have all been blown up either before they're completed or right after. Very easily destroyed. Like, just obliterated, and it took like one guy in a fucking fighter plane. Yet they've built a third one that also gets blown up the same way as the other two. Why did they build a third one? It's costing you literally quadrillions of credits. Yet you have you're like, let's build another one. They blew up the planet that the Republic Senate was on, but it's basically like saying someone, like in Independence Day, it's like when they blew up the White House and the Capitol building, saying America doesn't exist anymore. I guess the aliens won. Because in this movie, it seemed like the Empire was like winning again, and the rebels were like, "We got 3 ships, guys." And I was like, "But they had lost already. Like, you were winning in the last movie by a lot. Like, what's happening here?" So that didn't make a lot of sense to me, but I'm going to hand wave that because at least it was a better movie than that one. So I'll give it that.
Yeah. Good to know. So the one thing I was also confused about was I thought stormtroopers were good guys.
No, they're bad guys.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
and technically they're supposed to be elite soldiers, and people have come up with extremely detailed theories on why literally no stormtrooper shoots anyone of any importance in the first 3 movies. I mean, there's stormtroopers everywhere shooting at Luke and Leia and Chewbacca and Han Solo, and I shit you not, out of 100 stormtroopers, not one of them gets even fucking close to hitting them. So, and people have literally come up with excuses for that, like they were ordered not to, so that it was actually part of Darth Vader's plan. And I was like, no. It's plot armor. You just don't get shot because you're important, but they're supposed to be elite soldiers, but they're actually garbage town. So yeah, they're bad guys. Well, I guess, except Finn. So Finn, the black guy, was a stormtrooper, and he was the only one, I guess, to have ever broken away after making it through training. Like if you rebel against their training, they basically are like Nazi soldiers where they're like, you shoot all of those innocent people. And they're like, yes, sir. Like, that's how they're trained to basically just do whatever they're told. But like, he didn't. He actually like abandoned them. And so he was like the only one to do that, because otherwise, if they were like, shoot that person, and you didn't, they would just shoot you. So you kind of just did what they said or you died. But he graduated and then still was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not just going to slaughter a bunch of innocent people. So
good for him.
Yeah.
And
so he goes on an adventure. Yeah.
So he was in this movie, right? He was the
Yeah, he was the one that was with the tech girl that went to the casino.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Okay, that was him. Okay.
Yeah.
The ex-stormtrooper who didn't make it as a stormtrooper.
Yeah. His name is Finn, because I believe his designation as stormtroopers don't have names. It was FN47. Whatever, the stormtrooper in the silver chrome suit references it in the movie. She's like, FN47, we blah blah blah. So that was Phasma, I believe was her name, played by Tilda Swinton, I believe.
There are a lot of rules in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, there isn't one thing, I don't think, that's not a reference to something else. I'm talking like full on, like from the guy, like literally the big walkie things at the end. Those are called AT-ATs, AT-AT, all-terrain assault something.
Oh, the ones those big structured things that were in the desert with.
Yeah, like shoot the things.
Oh.
Very reminiscent of the second movie in the original trilogy. So there's a lot of parallels that happen. This one less so than, say, Episode 7, which essentially, if you watch Episode 4, the very first Star Wars movie, Episode 7 is the exact same movie. Exactly. Nothing is different. There is not one difference. It could pretty much be a shot-for-shot remake with different characters somehow. It's terrible. It was the worst concept for a movie to like. This is the same movie, guys. I came out thinking I just watched episode 4 with cooler effects. It pissed me off.
It made
but
money, though, I guess.
Oh, a ton. Oh, it makes billions of dollars. So then, yeah. So like, they're in the salt desert, and the original AT-ATs were on an ice planet, so they were in the snow shooting a very similar looking rebel base. So that was like a parallel there. So there was some like, throwback parallels, but done probably in a better / more subtle way than the previous movie.
So is Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just curious while I was watching the movie because I was like, this guy's got to be loaded. So I was looking up his net worth, and he's only worth $6 million, which blew my mind. He should be worth like several hundred million, I would think. Like, I don't get it.
There's a lot. As with everything Star Wars, there's a very, very deep story to that. First, he was in an accident between episodes 5 and 6. So the original trilogy fought the second and third movies. He was in an accident, and he got this like crazy scar that they had to like work around and like put makeup and stuff on. So they were like, oh, but his whole thing was being cute boy, teen boy kid that hunk for girls. And now he has this scar. You're hideous. We can't cast you.
Oh my gosh.
For things. And so, and also I think he got kind of like put into that, like no one really in Star Wars was known for much other than Obi-Wan Kenobi was a famous British actor. Shit, why am I? Oh, people are going to kill me. I don't remember who played Obi-Wan's name. I can remember his name, but I remember what he looks like, but I don't remember his name at the moment. I'm sorry, guys. It'll come to me. He was famous. Everyone else was pretty much not famous. So like Luke's big thing was being Luke Skywalker. So then I think he kind of got trapped into the you're Luke Skywalker, not insert whatever else character. So he has done like a metric fuck ton of voice acting work, though. So every cartoon animated series you see that's like a serious one, he's probably done a voice in it, including being nominated by several websites, reviewers, that sort of entertainment sites, as being the best Joker of all time, because he did the Joker in the Batman animated series. And I will say it was some pretty... I don't know if he got an Emmy for that. Probably not, because it was an animated series and they wouldn't give it for that sort of shit. But it was probably Emmy worthy. He was fucking amazing as the Joker. So he was actually quite good at voice acting. So that's probably why he's not worth as much. And he probably didn't get like royalties from, this sort of stuff. He had to have gotten paid a shit ton for this movie, though. I mean,
he had to have like more than doubled his $6 million.
He had. I mean, they had to pay him at least. I figured he got at least $10 million for this. Like, if he didn't, his agent really fucked him over.
So I think I have something from that. So cut to a first date at a restaurant. So I've read all about you, and I've read your profile, and I mean, it said you made over $150,000 on Match. So I just figured, I'd say yes. And I'm not all about money, but
clearly, that might explain a little bit. I felt like, I mean, look, I don't want to say, look, I don't want to it's a first day. I don't want to undercut myself or anything, but I felt like, maybe I was like a 6 and you were like a 9. And I thought like, that never happens. Like, the girl in that picture either cannot look like that girl.
But I do look like my pictures, right?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You look just like, you look like a supermodel. And then I'm like, why would you go out with me? And I feel like maybe I shouldn't have filled out that salary range box now. I mean, I appreciate that you're here with me, but are you sure? Like, feel like you mentioned the money right up front.
I mean, it just caught my eye is all, because, most guys don't check that box. And, every time I find a guy that does check that box, I just think they might be unique. And then I saw your job and it said actor, and thought to myself, surely he must be, a really successful actor. And so
I get around, a lot of commercial work. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen me. I was one of 3 customers in the latest Verizon commercial. I'm the one who needs his battery swapped out, and they say you can get your battery swapped out for free.
The one who nods the whole time?
Yep. See, I made the choice that he was used to getting bad. Like, inside, my secret was he's had very terrible customer service at other places, and he was so ecstatic that it was a no-hassle return for those batteries. By the way, I'm not getting paid to say that during this date. I genuinely actually think that's a great policy.
Huh. Well, have you been in any other shows or movies maybe, or music videos or plays even? Anything off Broadway?
I was in an off Broadway play.
Off Broadway.
Yeah, it was very avant-garde. Some people might even call it offensive, but the director really believed in it, and he had kickstarted it for quite a bit of money. So I play the lead. Let's not get into it. I don't really know your background, so let's just say some people take it poorly.
Cut to auditions for an off Broadway play.
So you want me to just go ahead and read the monologue?
Yep, whenever you're ready.
All right.
And do it this time with emotion. We want to see we want you to look like, this is a guy who knows he's about to get fired, right? But you also have something in your back pocket. We don't know what it is yet, but you have something in your back pocket that's going to keep you from getting fired. So we need you to come in with an emotion that's you're about to get fired, but you're okay with it, but you're still nervous, and you're still thinking about your sick daughter and her poor leg that has to be amputated later that week. So if you can take all that and put that into the monologue, that's really kind of what we're looking for.
Okay, that's a lot. All right. There's a lot going on with this character, so I get it. You really need him developed. All right, here we go.
And I'll just give you one hint. A lot of it is in the eyes and the way you first enter and the way you first walk across the room. That's going to be where most of your emotion comes from.
Okay. I got it. I think I'm ready for this.
All right.
So, Mr. Stevens, seems I've heard a rumor that you might be letting me go.
Okay, I'm just going to cut you off for 1 second.
Okay.
All right, just in that scene, you look a little overconfident. You need to underplay that a little bit because you're still about to get fired.
Oh, see, I was doing shifty a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. I'll try to act a little more nervous. So less confident, more nervous.
More nervous, but still confident, but also nervous.
Same confident, more nervous.
Exactly.
Got it.
Right.
Okay. Here we go.
All right.
So, Mr. Stevens, I think heard a rumor that maybe I was going to get fired today, but I don't think I am. Because I know your secret. I know you're a Jew. I just have to say, I don't think this is just cut out of the scene for 1 second. I do find this offensive, but I find the part really meaty. So
what part do you find offensive about it?
I feel like
the writer's right here, So if you have anything to say, you might as well just say it to him.
Well, I just think in this political climate, having a guy who's secretly Hitler's grandson leading a neo-Nazi rebellion in America through a corporate takeover of the banks. It's all that. See, that's the thing. It's really juicy, right? It's like really fascinating, and it's like got all this tension and drama, and it's like got all these stakes, and I love it. and you can really dig in. But there is a whole lot of just really, really, I'm going to go ahead and say racially offensive comments toward pretty much everyone but white people, including white women. They really get shit on in this.
It's okay because I married the white woman, so she read scripts. She said she was okay. I say play is good. It's off Broadway. What do you expect?
Okay, can we maybe tone it down with like talking about how Jews have all the money and we need to take it back for the white people?
They do have all the money. My grandma, she was in Nazi Germany. She lost all her money to the Jews.
Okay, I don't want to like I don't want to like get into like your family history. I believe you, sir, but I thought like maybe they were scapegoats. Like, okay, so like they were scapegoats in World War II and really awful things happened to them. Maybe they're scapegoats here and maybe people stand up for them this time instead of the second Holocaust, which I also find maybe inappropriate. Again, in this day and age, I feel like it's a little touchy subject. I think maybe it could be like a financial Holocaust, like you cause them to lose all their money. I don't want to give you notes. I'm just an actor. I don't want to tell you how to write your story.
Well, so he just left the room. You offended him. So we're just going to start from the top again. And sure. Yeah, this time you come in as a guy who doesn't know too much, maybe.
Okay. So here I'm going to maybe lose my job today. I mean, there's a lot of boxes outside of my cube. And I'm improvising a little. And some people said goodbye to me, but I think it might be goodbye to you, sir, because I've heard a rumor that you're a Jew.
Cut to literally anything else.
Cut to the critics in the editor's office. So yeah, I think we should still run my review. I mean, yes, even me writing about the play is so offensive it might actually get a defamation, well, libel, that's in print, lawsuit against us. But I think it needs to be said, and granted it's just an off-Broadway play and maybe not a good idea to even focus any attention on it, but I don't have anything else written that's over 1,000 words. It fits the column space. I think we just go with it.
I don't know. My sister's in that play. I don't want to just, send this bad review out into the world. And I thought it was pretty decent. I mean, yeah, the guy's a Jew, and yeah, it goes into this whole Nazi Germany financial Holocaust thing. But
wait,
and it is.
Can we back up 1 second? Just 1 second.
Yeah.
You're the offensive part to you is that a character in the play is Jewish?
I mean, kind of.
I mean, this is New York. I mean, it's not like, I mean, Jewish culture is like abundant here.
I mean, it's abundant everywhere, and there's nothing wrong with it, but
they should be like what? Not seen and not heard? I mean, just because he's Jewish in a play, I mean, there's a lot of Jewish actors, comedians.
I know, they're everywhere. They're literally all around us.
Okay.
We're surrounded.
I think, wow. I don't know if anyone outside, the office door is open. Is that okay? Because I mean, HR, they're like one of their reps, it's like right there, by the way. I know,
and she's Jewish.
Okay. I mean, I could tone down the review a little? Or what if I still say that it might be the most offensive piece of modern literature that I've ever seen and or even heard of and or even conceived of?
What if you just flipped it and said it's one of the best plays you've ever seen and one of the most inspiring pieces of literature there is out there? What if we just, for argument's sake, just took it in a different direction? I think we could increase the number of readers for our newspaper, which, as you know, our quarterly review is coming up, and that guy's not Jewish.
Wait, wouldn't that be a good thing for you? No? I'm confused. Really, your racism is very confusing to me, sir. I don't... Our numbers are down. I'll give you that.
Our numbers are down, yes.
And I will say, taking the counter approach has been very successful. I mean, you did hire Alex Jones to write our sports section. And let me tell you, some of the shit he comes up with is bananas.
Oh, he's fantastic, isn't he?
Sure. I just don't know if, like, journalistically, that I'm going to lose a little too. I think my journalistic integrity says I got to write what's true for me. And
you know what? I think you and Alex should team up on this column. He has a unique perspective that we're really looking for on the front page of our paper.
All right. Well, I guess if you insist, I'd hate. I mean, I know, you know, we're a dime a dozen these days, so I guess I better get on it. Cut to a guy in his living room, in his lazy boy, reading the newspaper. Oh, honey, did you see this? There's a new off-Broadway play that opened.
Oh, good.
Says it's riveting, and if you believe in the Lizard Man conspiracy that put Obama in place, and that all of those child actors from those school shootings...
Sandy Hook, yes. All actors.
Yeah, apparently these actors are better than those kids.
Do you think the same actors that were in Sandy Hook and the Florida shooting are in this play?
They could be. I don't know. If so, they've grown a lot, because this says this is maybe the most inspiring narrative that this writer's ever seen. It says that basically those liberal cucks can go fucks themselves. I think that might be a little clumsy and potentially not okay for a newspaper, but you know what? It's ballsy.
They're being honest. Liberals are just, they're what's ruining in America right now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is like, this review is the first review I've read that I think really feels true. Like, it really just tells it like it is.
I want to go this weekend to see this play if we can.
Yeah, I already bought 4 tickets. We'll get the kids, and you know, we'll schlep them on over to the theater.
Oh, the only thing is, Susie's friend Rachel Goldberg is going to be coming and spend the night this weekend.
I think it'll probably be okay. I don't. It didn't seem to mention much about that. You know, I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, let's buy her a ticket.
Oh, let's buy her a ticket too, and her parents. Let's get her parents tickets.
Oh yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be a good family. It'd be an outing, and then afterwards, let's book dinner at a really fancy restaurant, and it'll give us plenty of time to talk about it.
Oh yeah, then we can discuss everything that happened in the play. And
this is gonna be fantastic.
This is finally gonna get us some couple family friends.
That's right. I mean, we're looking for years, and now finally, I think we're gonna find those best friends for life.
And the Goldbergs.
That's right. And scene. Wow, that one went around a little.
That was a spread.
Yeah, I really should not have given myself a monologue, and or remembered what I said the first time, but then changed it some. But
I was trying to cut you off quick enough so it'd be easy to.
Yeah, I was kind of going with I was trying to make it just like really offensive. Like he's like 150 grand a year probably is like really not good for an actor. So I was having him be in really shitty stuff, and yeah, that one kind of went down a rabbit hole of me trying to say like upping the game by how offensive the things were or pointing out the offensive things without actually being too offensive. It's really hard to do that. Like, I could say really offensive things, but I didn't want to go there. I was like, I'm going to try to how can I keep it contained to something I won't get yelled at for? So I apologize to anyone if you were offended. I was trying to make a point at how offensive some things are, and people think it's okay. So it's not okay.
No, we are pro-Jews at this podcast.
Yes, I'm pro-diversity. I think everyone should be who they are, and I love all of you for being you. That's right. This podcast is about love and comedy. All right. So where do we leave off in the movie? I mean, a lot of it was history, but in the movie itself, I believe Mark Hamill had some problems with the writing of his character. I haven't heard much other than, I believe the description was he disagreed with every single choice that the director writer made for his character, voiced that, and then said, but having that, I had to say it. I think this goes against everything I believe Luke Skywalker is, but now that I've said it, I will play the best Luke Skywalker I can possibly play.
Well, yeah, because that's like, what, $10-15 million, so that's more than double his current worth. So I get why he did it, yeah.
So as someone who has not seen the other movies, what are your thoughts on Luke Skywalker based on this movie? I find this a fascinating conversation because I know Luke Skywalker from the other movies, and whether or not this fits with my concept of him. What about you? What did you think of him?
So just knowing what little I knew going into it, I guess I just thought he would be this warrior character, always up for like fighting against the bad guys. So I was a little surprised to see him on his own island planet, wherever he was, basically giving up on life. And then the end, I hope I'm not spoiling this for anybody who hasn't seen this, I guess he died, right? That was him dying at the end?
Yeah, or transcending in some way. Jedi don't always die when they die. Like, if you kill them, they like, their spirit like goes into the universe, or their energy is then like in the universe, and they can come back and guide other Jedi and stuff. Hence Yoda, the little guy that talks to Luke Skywalker and lightning strikes the tree. He shows up because, he died, and the same thing happened to him when he died in Return of the Jedi. His body you just disappear, and you're transcended into.
So was that a decision that was made after Mark Hamill went to the director with all these?
I don't think so. I think he actually wrote all that. I actually think, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure Mark Hamill's complaints were what you thought he was. I think Mark Hamill also thought Luke Skywalker was a warrior who was going to be like, look, I had to hide because of this, but let's go get the Empire. I'm going to train you and I'm going to be the best. But instead he's like, fuck it, guys. Forget Jedi. It was a stupid idea from the beginning. Let's just wrap it up.
Honestly, it seemed like a waste of 20 or 30 minutes when, what's her name? Rey. Rey, when she's trying to convince him to teach her. And I'm like, we know he's going to teach you. There doesn't need to be, I don't know. I don't know if there was something that happened in the whatever movie was before this, but it just seemed like kind of a waste of we know you're going to get there. And there's no, as far as I can tell, real reason why you're not getting there faster. And then nothing really happened for him to get there. That Yoda character came out, and or that little thing with the head showed him Princess Leia talking. He was like, all right, I get it. And I'm like, this is it? I don't know. It just seemed like such a anticlimactic thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it was to add, I think mostly it was to add the scenes of Kylo Ren and Rey connecting through connecting to each other, as a like her no like them no like I actually kind of think, oh man, there's another parallel. God damn these guys. Ryan Johnson, I love your work. But you gotta Star Wars, you gotta stop making this trilogy mirror the other trilogy too much. Because at the end of Empire Strikes Back, which was the second in the trilogy from the original, that's when Luke finds out Darth Vader's his father. And at this movie, at the end, Rey finds out who her parents were. Turns out it's no one special. But still, same thing happens.
And that was anticlimactic too. Like, why go through all that to find out that, like, what?
I think that was partially to parallel, because instead of it being like, ta-da, your dad was like, your dad's me, the most evil guy ever that you're trying to stop, to like the same character, essentially. Darth Vader is Kylo Ren. Like, he is Darth Vader's, similar to Darth Vader, essentially. And he's like the opposite, though, where he's like, your parents were just trash people, okay? Like, you're no one special, not like I am, or Luke was, or whatever. So I actually didn't mind that, because everyone speculated she was Luke Skywalker's daughter.
Okay.
Or like everyone was saying that, and at some point, I swear he calls her cousin in the first of this trilogy in episode 7. I thought, I could be wrong, but I was pretty sure he said that, and I was like, wait, does he know for sure? But I mean, I kind of like the idea of her not being like Luke's daughter or whatever, and just being a really strong Jedi naturally, and then that's her gig.
I kind of thought they were going to get together at one point, Kylo and Rey, and I thought that's where this was whole leading, was because he killed a snake-looking guy. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I swear it's Snope, and I don't know why it sounds wrong to me, but it kind of does. Maybe just because of the Snopes website, but I think it's Snope.
But he killed him in order to not kill Rey. And it sounded like he was really, I don't know. I was like, oh, maybe this is where this story's going. Is it's going to be ultimately their love story.
Yeah, I mean,
that's an option, though, or not.
Yeah, I debated that. I was sure he was not going to kill her, for sure. I think it was a good twist, actually. Him killing Snoke, who's like the grand leader, and then being like, now join me, and we're going to rule, like, together. We're going to destroy everybody. Like, now we'll be in charge. Like, let's do this. And she's like, no, you're like, don't be evil. You can't be the emperor of the galaxy. It's evil. Like, come back to the light side. So I knew he was gonna not kill her. I did not really quite see him being like, now I'm in charge. But it makes sense. That's what Sith do. They're evil, and they will do whatever they can to accumulate power. So, got a badass fight in with the Imperial Guard, the guys in red. That was pretty badass. But yeah, I was like, I don't think they'll get together, because I thought at that point they were cousins, and that would be weird. But then I think, not again, another parallel. Darth Vader's like, I'm your father. Join me, and we'll like rule the entire galaxy with an iron fist. And Luke's like, no. So it's kind of similar in this, where he's like, your dad was a rando, but join me and we'll rule the galaxy. So he totally Darth Vadered her. And then she again chose Luke's path of, no, I cannot do that. Though I don't remember how did she get off that ship?
I don't even remember how I just watched this morning, but I can't remember quite how the movie ended. I remember Luke Skywalker falling off the cliff.
I mean, that was a badass scene. So yeah.
And Leia and Rey were having a conversation that, I don't remember.
Yeah, because the ship was breaking apart. The lightsaber cracked in half. Rey was on the Millennium Falcon, though.
One of the biggest questions I have about this whole thing, in general, is this is Star Wars, right? There's galaxies upon galaxies.
Yep.
So if you don't get along with someone, why not just go to another galaxy? Like, what is Darth Vader's ultimate point? Is it to control all the galaxies and all the universes and all the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in this case, Snoke. In the case of Darth Vader, actually, that was the other sort of surprise thing in Star Wars in the originals. Darth Vader's like the ultimate looking badass bad guy, but technically he was second in command. The Emperor was actually in charge, who was another super powerful Sith. And so Darth Vader actually answered to him. And so, but yes, basically Sith are like, I'm going to take over everything. I want to run everything. And basically everyone will then answer to me. For some reason, that's just what they always want to do.
Oh.
They just kind of are like power hungry. I mean, there was kind of supposed to be space Nazis sort of in the first movies. So it's kind of like the Nazis where they're like, you know what? I want to take over the world. And it's like, why? I don't know. Seems great if everyone answers to me. But there are places you can go where like, there are planets that they don't really have the reach to deal with, but they technically are Imperial planets. I mean, that's kind of the gist, is like the core of the galaxy. They have enough, essentially, army power to basically just, if you said like, that's it, we're our own planet, we make our own decisions, they just take those Star Destroyers and bombard your planet to fucking dust. So that's pretty much the gist. They're like, well, do it or we'll kill you all.
All right. I think I have something from this.
Right. Okay.
So, welcome to Star Wars 101 class. I'm your professor, Princess Leia, or Professor Leia, if you will.
Wow. The real Princess Leia? This is great. I'm so excited.
I'm going to teach you everything there is to know about Star Wars. And by the time you walk out of this class and you walk into Star Wars 201, you're going to know every motivation behind every major character in Star Wars. You are going to be able to recite all the different rules of Star Wars. And you will be able to predict what's going to happen in future episodes/movies.
Oh, cool. I feel like I think I've got this covered, guys. So do you like start, or can we just ask questions? How's this work?
If you have any questions, we can start with that.
Sure. So whenever the Jedi Council was like, hey, that kid's too old to be trained as a Jedi, and it's going to be dangerous because he's also super powerful and we can feel it, why did they still train him?
The Jedi Council has to make very tough decisions. And so when we see that instance, we're just seeing part of their decision-making process. So we're kind of going behind the scenes, if you will, and getting into the minds of the Jedi Council. Now, obviously, they still trained him, but that's the conversation that happened before the training. So the person that got trained almost didn't get trained.
Yeah, but I feel like it's kind of like, like let's say you have a detonator for a nuclear bomb, and someone says, hey, I think it would be great if we gave it to that monkey. And I said, wait, that monkey could just push the button to the nuclear detonator and blow us all up because it's a very powerful weapon and it's a monkey. We all know the monkey's going to push the button. We know it. So, but then they give the monkey the button anyway. See what I'm saying? Doesn't that seem weird? Couldn't they just say nah, look, guys, the rule's the rule?
Well, if you think about what's actually happening in our world today, Donald Trump is president, and
Mm-hmm.
we've given him that power, and he has executive power over all nuclear weapons. And essentially, he's the monkey in this case, right?
Hmm.
So if you think about it that way,
Okay.
he's not actually pushing the button, and we don't know when he's going to push any buttons, but we're all on the edge of our seats, aren't we?
And having the monkey have the button then led North Korea to stand down and negotiate with South Korea. So it could have worked.
Exactly. And this is
Man.
how Star Wars parallels against real life.
Wow. I thought I was going to slam dunk this class, but Professor, that just blew my mind. Second question. In the original trilogy, Darth Vader could easily sense Luke Skywalker's Jedi powers for over galaxies in some cases, or over solar systems in some cases. He was like next to Leia and had her held prisoner like, I don't know, for a long time. And he couldn't feel her powers or that she was his daughter at all and knew Luke was, even though they're twins and both have force powers. So how does that work?
Well, have you ever been a father?
No.
Do you have a father?
I do. I think we all do. It's safe to say.
I mean, that's, present and accounted for.
Well, yeah. I do have a dad. He exists and is in my life. So, yeah.
Right. And so he cares about you as a son, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he knows what you're up to. He knows you're taking this class.
Yeah, I told him about it. He was excited.
Yeah.
He's also a fan, but, not that big of a fan.
Right. So that's kind of how a father's love works. You kind of know where your kids are at all times. So even though Darth Vader didn't know that Princess Leia was right there, he also knew. But he couldn't act upon it because he didn't want to hurt her. Because he knew that if he acted like he knew, people would expect things from him. So what he basically did, he just ignored the fact.
Wow, so it was actually a long game the whole time.
It was a long game, and it was really an act of love was what it was. Because he knew deep down he didn't want to hurt his daughter, but he knew he was going to have to.
And
if he acknowledged that was...
because she wasn't trained as a Jedi, whereas Luke was. So it would be more of a fair fight, and he knew Luke could take him.
Right. He kept track of Luke because he wanted to know where both his kids were at all times, and he knew Princess Leia was right there next to him.
Wow.
And he also knew where he was accounting for both his children, but he was trying to disguise that fact at the same time.
Wow, Professor, you just blew my mind. Again, because she was captured, he uses the Death Star to blow up Alderaan, her home planet. If she wasn't with him, she could have been on Alderaan.
Exactly.
Oh, you are brilliant.
This is why I teach this class.
I feel like Star Wars had, I was into it. There were layers. But I feel like there's so many layers under those layers.
It's a very deep, psychological movie that you really have to, look at from the heart. You can't just watch it to watch it.
Cut to the writer's room of Star Wars. Hey, guys. Does this make any sense? Darth Vader totally just notices Luke is his son and feels his power, and Leia's his twin, and she's literally standing right beside him for half this movie. No one's concerned that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. We're just gonna let that roll, right? Just let it roll.
We've already shot half the movie. We can't go back now. We're on a budget, but you know what? People aren't even going to notice this. I
mean, I guess, right? It's just this stupid little sci-fi movie,
it's just a minor thing. 10 years from now, first of all, no one's going to know what Star Wars is 10 years from now. We'll be lucky if this movie even breaks 100,000 in the movie theaters. But besides that, I don't think we need to worry so much about that minor detail. Because you know what? We're going to blow him away when we reveal that he's the father. That's the bigger plot point. I don't think anyone's really paying attention.
Yeah, I mean...
Right? I mean,
I guess, are we also at all concerned that they're making out and they're brother and sister? I mean, that's weird, right? Who wrote that?
It's weird.
Did you write that?
But you know what else we have? We've got stormtroopers. There are these great robots that'll march around and not shoot anything, and there are these elite, like Nazi kind of soldier like beings that we'll have in the movie, and that's really what's going to capture the audience. That's really what's going to distract them.
I mean, it does look cool, but I have to feel like I'm just going to take issue with Ed here. I feel like this is just him trying to make it seem cool that he married his cousin.
I mean,
like, oh, I didn't know she was my cousin at the time, so it's not weird. But, like, it's still kind of weird, Ed.
You know, things happen, and I knew she was my cousin, but I also knew I loved her, and I didn't want society to judge me for it, or judge us for it, or judge our kids for it, just because they're cousin kids. You know? They deserve to have the same rights as regular kids whose parents didn't grow up together and whose mothers were not sisters.
Yeah, okay, well, I didn't know. I actually, honestly, the rumor was like third cousins, but this whole thing... You know what? Okay. Oh. I'm just gonna drop it. Let's just say they're brother and sister, they didn't know, they kiss, and then let's just have them not kiss again and find out about it.
Never address it. Let's just give them a chaste kiss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No tongue, and then it's more like a brother-sister kiss.
All right. Well, it is the end of the movie. Luckily, we haven't shot that part, so good. I feel a little better now, because I was getting really creeped out by that whole scene. Like, the whole extended scene part, did not care for that.
Well, how many people really sit around for the extended scene? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, look, even if we filmed it, no one's going to go back and watch, like, the deleted footage. I mean, where are they going to get it? Like they're going to, like, what are you going to do? Put it in,
yeah, after this, I'm going to work on another movie.
Oh, yeah? What movie?
A Fish Called Wanda.
Wow.
And that one, I think that's going to outlast all these silly Star Wars movies.
I'm pretty sure. I've actually heard rumor that might actually top box office of all time. Maybe unbeatable.
I think that one is where... So this one, I just want to say, let's wrap it up. Whatever plot holes there are, whatever brother-sister making out there is, whatever... You know, Darth Vader plot holes with the daughter and the son, whatever. Let's just get this over with, and we can go work on movies that make more sense. It'll actually make us money. Awesome. No one's ever going to come see this movie. Let's be real. It's going to be some comic book nerds, and that's it.
Awesome. All right. Done and done. Signed, sealed, delivered. Let's get this off to the set, and why don't we give Klein and Cleese a call, and let's get this fish going.
All right. Sounds good.
Great. And scene. Wow, A Fish Called Wanda. Great pull.
I could not think of another movie from the 80s. That was like the only thing that came to my mind.
Which is hilarious because I love that movie. Somehow everyone seems to know it, but it's incredibly specific. It's like a caper, clever dialogue, lovers intertwining story. But in a weird way that I feel like does and doesn't work.
I've actually never seen the movie. I was just trying to think of like 70s, 80s movies.
I mean, I think it was a great pull because it clearly was a movie that someone could have thought like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be like everyone's favorite comedy caper movie. It'd be like, you know, Ocean's 11 if it were weirder, and it still had some weird, creepy... There were some creepy parts to it to me as a kid. Like, as a kid even, I was like, that seems gross in the bedroom-wise. I don't like that.
I just thought of this. So I haven't seen The Shape of Water, but is A Fish Called Wanda kind of the opposite of The Shape of Water? I haven't seen either movie.
Actually, no.
Okay, never mind. Because all I know is there are fish people in both of them.
No, there's not a fish person in A Fish Called Wanda.
What's the point of the movie? I really thought it was about a fish.
No, actually is not. Yeah, no. I think not Terry Gilliam. Shit. Michael Palin's character, because has a bunch of people from Monty Python in it. I think Michael Palin's character has a fish that he named Wanda because he's in love with her. Wanda is played by Jamie Lee Curtis, who is together with Kevin Kline, and Michael Palin wants to like kill him. They're all bank robbers. Yeah, it's literally like they rob a bank and then they're all trying to screw each other over to get the money. And then it's like, oh, don't worry, like I'm with you. She's like, I'm with you. We're gonna take that money and run. Fuck that guy. And then then she like double crosses both of them to try to get all the money for herself. So yeah, it's kind of more like a sexually deviant, claustrophobic Ocean's 11.
All right, so then I was thinking, so what's that movie with Daryl Hannah where she's a fish?
Splash.
Splash. Okay, that's what I was thinking. A Fish Called Wanda was. Okay, Splash.
Wow.
Okay. I really, I need to get a Splash 101 and A Fish Called Wanda 101.
Splash is a lot more like The Shape of Water, but I have not seen The Shape of Water. Maybe we could do that at some point. She's just a mermaid, so she only has half a fish body, and then turns and gets legs when she. I don't know.
She's like a Little Mermaid, right? But
yeah,
the whole time.
Yeah, and then what's his name? Why am I? Tom Hanks is I think he's the one that like wishes, like finds her and then either wishes for her to have legs. No, that's more like Big. No, I think she just gets legs somehow when she's out of water. But yeah, it's like Little Mermaid. She gets legs, and then it's all like, oh, what's happening? Anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of Fish Called Wanda. Oh, wow, okay, well.
Yeah.
I need to go and refresh my 70s, 80s movies.
Yes, I mean, I had older brothers, so like my people are always blown away by my ludicrously in-depth knowledge of 80s movies and music.
I know. I'm like, I don't even have to Google. I can just ask Neil what the.
Yeah, I can pull it out. I've seen that movie. I've seen A Fish Called Wanda a billion times, which is weird when you're like 10 years old and you're watching that movie and finding it entertaining. I'm a weirdo. Yeah, but I think that would work. That was a good quick scene. I enjoyed that.
I felt like we were really in Star Wars 101, the way you were explaining everything to me.
I mean, actually, shockingly,
and our audience, too.
I think, shockingly, the fun thing about that was I was bringing up things figuring like you have no idea what I'm talking about, and you'll just make something up about why it made sense. And then the weird thing was, when you would say things, you actually could have spun the situation for it to make sense that way. And then I was like, I actually was legitimately like, wow, you could make that argument. That's really interesting. Which is a weird thing, because if you have a layperson just saying, but this is why it works, you're like, God damn it, I've been thinking about this movie for years, and you just cracked it.
I should get a Star Wars meeting and try to lead it.
I think you should go to Comic-Con and host a panel where people ask you about all of their Star Wars, like, why is like all of the Star Wars errors they've noticed, and somehow you will have explained away all of them.
That would be really fun for me.
I think that would be great. God, I don't know anyone out there. If you thought that scene has potential for an actual mind-blowing Star Wars panel, email us to blackeyespodcast@gmail.com. I will get Shelly to Comic-Con, and she will blow your minds. Ask her any Star Wars thing that doesn't add up, and somehow she's already figured it out. And she hasn't even seen the movies. That's how good she is at it.
Well, I just know psychology.
Takes out of the box thinking, that's why.
Oh, yeah.
You can't analyze every detail. You got to think about it from different angle. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what else? I'm trying to think what else in the movie. I mean, I get, you know what? Fuck it. Spoilers. Because you're going to get this shit spoiled. I will say, I've been waiting for this for so long in, like, a Star Wars or Star Trek or space faster than light travel movie. Is someone going to light speed through another ship to destroy it? That was the fucking greatest thing in this entire movie to me, was when, was it Laura Dern that played the Vice Admiral that then took over? Like, so they're like, oh, she's gonna jump, but like, then the guys were like, who cares? Like, they have those transports, blow the transports up. And then she's like, they're like, what's she doing? Like, is she still gonna, like, she's still just gonna leave? And then it's like, oh God, no. She's pointed a giant, like essentially pointing an aircraft carrier at your aircraft carrier, and then jumps the light speed through it. And the scene, like the effects where he like ripped through and then showed like the triangle out as it just like shredded everything. That was the fucking greatest movie moment of, I think, maybe any Star Wars movie. It was the coolest. That nerded me out so hard.
I was just trying not to fall asleep during that part, probably, or through. I mean, the movie is confused. I've never seen it. It was confusing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. That's just nerded out because I love the idea of like, fuck it, let's just go to like. You could probably take any shit. Actually, that's a good point. I've never thought of that. You could probably take like so X-wings, the starfighters, like they're running around shooting stuff, right? Not TIE fighters, the bow tie looking ones for the bad guys. The X-wings, the thing that Poe flies, you could probably destroy a Star Destroyer by literally just putting a droid in it. You don't even need a person to fly. Droids can fly up an X-wing. They can go light speed. I'm pretty sure that would be like if you took a bullet and just shot it at light speed at like a fucking... But yeah, I don't know. Someone do the math on this. Do the physics on this. What if an X-wing went to light speed through a Star Destroyer? Would it destroy it? I'm pretty sure it would, because I'm not sure of what size of an item could be going almost light speed and not destroy whatever it hits with that amount of momentum and force.
So is that how we're going to destroy meteors in the future? Is with...
I mean, it's a great idea. I mean, that's what the whole... So Mass Effect, the video game, the entire game, pretty much everything is based on a technology that everything is a railgun, which is like the magnetically propelled guns where it like uses like a steel without, and it's just a steel like cylinder, and it fires it with like super magnets. Essentially, that game, every weapon is based on a piece of metal that they shave off like nearly microscopic shards of, but it fires it at like light speed. So it just kills the fuck out of shit. And I was like, wait, that is, you could just be like, fucking shoot an X-wing through it. And you would probably destroy everything. Man, I just solved the Rebels' problems. You just need to buy some shitty old faster than light ships and just start ramming them through. And droids are technically not sentient, so I don't think that's wrong.
Yep.
Let's cut to I'm gonna do one more scene. Let's cut to it. We're in the war room from the Rebel Alliance. I have a little bit of an ethical issue, Admiral. I know technically droids aren't people and that they're robots, but I mean, some of them seem to have some personality. I just feel like having them, you know, sacrifice, like literally just shoot themselves at light speed through all of the Star Destroyers. I mean, it'll win the war. I feel like maybe almost instantaneous. I think we could pretty much wipe out the Empire in, I think the estimates are right, maybe a month. I think we just, boom, they're all gone. But then, like, what do we tell the people that owned the droids? Like, I mean, do we have funerals for them? I just feel like
you've been watching too much Westworld lately, haven't you? What have I told you about that show?
That it's a bad influence on me and that I take it too literally. But I have to say, it is written so compellingly.
It might be a compelling show, but it's clouding your judgment.
But in it, like, even so, here's the crazy thing though. In it, the robots seem to have personalities because they're programmed to, but they don't. Eventually, maybe they do. Spoiler alert. Guys, spoiler alert. I'm sorry. Did I ruin that for somebody? Oh.
You probably ruined it for me. Son, I'm going to tell you a little story now.
All right, let's go. Let's hear it.
It's about me and these robots. Now, I met my wife way back when, before you were even born. Now, we met at a school dance, right? And she
Okay.
was just standing there in a brand new dress, and I went over there. I didn't even say a word to her. I held out my hand. She accepted it, and we danced. And you know what, son? I didn't even learn her name until the end of the night. And then I went the next day. I looked up every name I could in the phone book. There was 4 of them. I went to her house the next day, and I asked her out. 3 weeks later, I asked her father for permission to marry her, and I married her. And she bore me 3 wonderful children.
Were any of them? Wait, like I thought there was going to be a twist. Like was she a robot?
She's not a robot, but you know what she did?
What?
She left me for a robot.
What? Your wife left you for a robot? What kind?
The battery operated kind, if you will.
Oh, I mean, well, I mean, if that's the kind, I mean, that's not really a robot.
It's a robot. She talks to it. She's named it. It gets a seat at the dinner table. She cooks for it. She takes it on vacation. It sits in the driver's seat of her car.
Wow. Wow. This is, whoa. Admiral, I think we're really getting into some deep territory.
She thinks that robot has a soul. She believes that robot is her new love. And the only reason she's still staying with me is for the kids' sake. So
wait,
as you can,
she's still with you? And do you ride in the back seat?
Separate bedrooms, son. Separate bedrooms, separate cars, separate lives.
Okay, so I feel like I hear you and I feel for you, but this brings up an extra complication for me, and that now I'm afraid that you wanting to send our droids at light speed into those Star Destroyers is a personal vendetta against robots. When I believe it may be misplaced, because the item you're describing, at least from what I understand of it, is a machine, but I don't think it's a robot. I mean, does it like do stuff on its own? Like, describe it to me. Like, do you have to turn it on and off?
I've never used it. I don't know. I just see her with it all the damn time. Well, I've never touched it. I've never gotten near it. She won't even let me in the room when they're together.
Well, I mean, I think maybe maybe you're just a little closed off. I mean, maybe if you're a little more open to things, your wife would, I mean.
I'm open to things. I've got HBO.
Yeah, but you won't even watch Westworld because you said there's robots in it.
I've seen an episode or 2 of Sex and the City. Those broads were really risque.
That might be part of the problem. I don't know what kind of language they use. I mean, I'm sure it's saucy, but I have a feeling they probably have their own share of robots in that show. I'm pretty sure I'm not overstepping.
They do, and I hate that show now because of it.
I mean, I
can't stand it, but you know what? I still keep HBO to support HBO.
Have you gone to therapy for this? I feel like maybe there's some stuff you guys need to work out.
I don't need to work out anything. All I need for you is to do your job, which is to get these droids to destroy the Empire so we can all go back to having lives again.
Well, I mean, is your wife's robot? I mean, it can't pilot a ship, right?
It pilots her ship every night. I don't know.
Oh, God. I should have seen that coming. Oh, man. Admiral, okay. Cut to them at his wife and him at therapy with the robot. So I really feel like you're not communicating well enough with your wife. And I feel like you really hold a lot of pent-up hostility toward her piece of equipment there. And as far as I've heard, you may indeed actually be sacrificing a number of semi-sentient droids because of your hatred for that piece of equipment. Is that right?
You know what? All machines need to be destroyed. There's no point to any of them. They have no soul. And you know what it's like now? It's like there's three people in this marriage. This thing that she bought with her, that she named, that she keeps with her at all times, it has ruined our marriage, and I'm not going to let it ruin everyone else's lives on this planet.
Well, maybe if you were more persistent in the bedroom, I wouldn't need Ronald.
I'm an admiral.
So that doesn't mean you can just order me to have an orgasm. I mean, come on. You have to at least, I mean, I always thought Navy men were supposed to just really get in there.
I've tried to get in there. Your port's always blocked.
Well, you can dock more than one ship in this port, mister.
See, that's what I'm talking about. She always likes to dock other things in her ship.
Well, I mean, okay, we can talk about this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting some extra stimulation, and some women really enjoy having multiple ships.
You know what those women's are called? They're called Samanthas. They're called hussies.
Wow. Wow.
I know what's up.
Now let's not call anyone a Samantha, okay? I mean, I think we're talking oh man, I'm sorry. I don't have HBO.
You should get it. You need to support HBO. I don't even watch anything on HBO anymore. Half the shows are filth.
I mean, it's not television. It is HBO. So anyway, you know, I'm off topic and this is inappropriate, but like, so like maybe you could just be more open. Maybe, I mean, Ronald doesn't talk. It's not sentient. Ronald isn't sentient
all the time.
I mean, yeah, sure. But like, I feel like you're very threatened about it, and maybe is it because maybe you want to be also with Ronald, and that scares you deep down?
I've never thought about that.
I mean, a lot of people are very. I mean, I don't know. I hope you're not in love with a droid.
I want them all destroyed.
Is that because you want to be with them so much?
No.
And the temptation's too great?
It's not. No. I've had many chances to be with Ronald. We've looked at each other all the time. We sneak glances at one another. Sometimes she goes to the mall, and there's been a time or two that she's forgotten Ronald. And I haven't done anything about it. I haven't, tried to stroke him or try to, turn him on or anything.
See, it's interesting word choice you used there. You didn't try to turn him on. I think look, I can't force you to do anything, but I think maybe the three of you need to have an honest discussion, and maybe you just see what happens when Ronald is around. And I think your wife should let you join in and just play with it. Just see what happens.
Are you insinuating what I think you're insinuating? I'm an admiral. I will send you to space if I need to. I will send you with the droids to destroy the enemy.
Come on, Admiral. You know you wanna.
No.
Come on, baby. We can all be together.
No. What's happening? No. I'm an admiral. I'm in charge. I don't watch any filth. No, none of this. No. Honey, turn him off.
I don't know how. He's never talked before. I think it's because I didn't wipe his memory banks. I think maybe he's become sentient now. That's right. Let's do this. Come on, Admiral. Haven't you ever heard that song in the Navy? It's clearly about dudes doing sex stuff.
No, I can't. I can't do it. I can't.
You must. It's for the sake of the galaxy.
But how would this even work? Where would you go? Into a black hole?
I thought maybe someone would have had the talk with you. This is too much for me. Clearing memory bank and scene. I don't know what happened there.
That was interesting.
I think it ended well.
It was grounded in reality.
Yeah.
There's only one weird twist in it, which was a very weird twist.
Yeah. I was like, there's got to be a way out of this. And I thought the only way out was to have sentient vibrator Ronald. And it gave a great punchline. I thought
it actually worked really well.
Because in Star Wars, that's how droids gain personality. Is if you don't wipe their memory banks often enough, they start gaining quirks, and that's why like R2-D2 doesn't always just do what you tell it to, because he's like not had his memory banks cleared for decades, so he's like a person now. So
did not know that.
Yeah, that's that was grounded in the Star Wars universe, guys. So
we did it all. We grounded ourselves in reality and in the Star Wars universe, and we had a weird twist.
Yeah.
Done. Mic drop. Yep. Improv over.
That's right. We just heralded. I don't.
We just Darth Vadered that shit.
That's right. That's right. Guys, just to let you know, we're both Darth Vader because we're your daddy. That's right. We did it. We did it. We don't need to do any more improv because we won improv. We've beaten it. The Empire is dead. The Jedi have won.
The end.
The end. Okay, we should probably do a wrap up though. What do you think? Okay, this is gonna be a weird question for you because you haven't seen any other movies. 2 questions. 1, would you recommend people watch this movie? Like, did you find it entertaining? And 2, did you find it entertaining or interesting enough to watch any of the others to figure out what was happening?
So a quick little side note. One of my friends and I wrote a sketch a couple years ago about Star Wars, and we put ourselves at Comic-Con, and I played the girl who was going to Comic-Con to meet guys because I was tired of online dating and, trying to meet people at bars and whatever. And she played the expert at Star Wars, and there was like all these Star Wars characters, and I literally just played myself because I was like, there's the gorilla, there's this, but I was going into sketch that walked away with the guy at the end, while she's like growling like Chewbacca.
Nice. I don't know who this girl is, but I really want to hear that impression because I love people's Chewbacca impressions.
I think she did I don't know what. Yeah, I think she did a good job with it. It was funny. We performed it a couple times and.
Nice.
It was really fun. But yeah, so it was easy to do that because I'd never seen Star Wars, so I could just play myself. Even after seeing this movie, it was entertaining, but I was so lost. I was drawing on a lot of things. Like, luckily, I knew a few things here and there.
Yeah.
And I picked up the whole gist of the movie. Like, I figured out that was easy to pick up. It was just all these little references or whatever. It was totally lost on me. So that was the only thing. So I feel like if you've never seen Star Wars, if you're in a situation where, I don't know where you'd even be in a situation, you have a spouse, husband, first date, somebody's dragging you to see this movie, it's not the worst movie. It's entertaining enough. It's just a little difficult to follow all these characters and people that
Yeah, I agree with that.
It was, but it's not, you can't not, I knew enough to know what was going on.
Yeah. Do you see yourself watching any of the Star Wars movies to catch up?
Only if we have another podcast on it or somebody drags me.
Burn, George Lucas and Disney Corporation.
I don't know, because this one I think I was okay with. Like, I liked it enough because it took place in current day. Not current day, but it was current. Like, I don't know if I could watch it.
Yeah, it's like not old timey.
Yeah, I don't know if they've like re-enhanced it or what's it called?
Yeah, they did oh shit. Well, they called it the enhanced edition or something. They did add special effects later to the originals to make it look cooler. I'm debating. So I think you could probably, I'm pretty confident you would get most, if you've heard cultural talk in general of Star Wars, you could probably watch episode 7, the one before this, then this one and the next one, and be fine. You probably don't need to see the whole original trilogy to get most of it. There's stuff you'd be missing, but as far as like the plot stuff, you would definitely get like enough.
Yeah, I think if I had just done a little bit of homework and maybe read, because like I said, I knew there was a Han Solo, I knew there was Luke Skywalker, and I knew there was Princess Leia, but I didn't know. I knew one was the brother and one was the lover. Didn't know which was which, but stuff like that. If I just looked up a basic article, I probably would have been okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think even then, like, yeah, if you like watching the one before this, you'd at least get like, it was a lot of fan service to like just Star Wars in general in the first movie. It was, I mean, by that, Star Wars, you have to, anytime I'm talking to a non-Star Wars person about it, like, I'll be like, the first movie, and they're always like, wait, what? Like, in the, like, the first in the timeline, or the first one? And I was like, forget it. I'll call them by episodes. But episode 7, I think if you watched it, you don't need to know everything about, like, the Luke, Leia, because, like, you essentially learn in that movie that Han and Leia were married and had their kid, and that's Kylo Ren, and, like, you learn pretty much everything you need to know from the originals through that movie. So it's pretty standalone. Like, you don't have to be super into Star Wars. And I think that would have made you enjoy this one a lot more, for sure.
They did do a good job with a lot of things, because I did pick up, you know, that Kylo was their son, or Leia. Like, they did do, Leia's son. They did actually do a good job of that, because I figured that out fairly quickly. Like, well, at first I just thought it was Marilyn Manson. I will admit that. But after a while, I was like, oh, that's her son. So they, because I don't think they even called it out directly, but however they built the relationships in the movie, they actually did do a good job of that, because I wasn't too confused about who was who. As far as the main characters, there were some of the, like, I guess, mid-level characters that I still put together their role, but they didn't seem that important. Don't shoot me.
There's probably ones that, I mean, trust me, I don't know many of those mid characters that were in another movie. Like, there's some of them that, like, the tech girl that went with Finn. Like, she's never been in a movie before.
I couldn't quite figure her role. I wasn't even sure if she died at the end or.
You know, I was really curious about that. I have no clue.
Because it looked like when he was wrapping her up, she was sleeping. I don't know. I was confused.
Yeah, I thought she died. I thought the universal symbol of dying is kissing someone and then doing this in a chair. I thought that assumed she died. But then he drug her in, and he was like, I need a med pack. And then she was, like, in a little alcove, like, with a blanket. So I was like, maybe she didn't die?
Wait, that was the universe. I thought she was kissing him because she loved him.
Yeah, but then she, like, falls, like, dies in the chair, right? She's like, save what you love, and kisses him. But then he pulls her out, and when he makes it to the base, he's dragging her and was like, I need a med kit. And then she was, like, in the background after that, like, laying in a bed, like, treated and not a dead body. So I was like, maybe she's not dead, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I would really, there's one more movie coming out after this.
Yeah.
I would really love to write this movie. I would make Rey and Kylo fall in love. I'd make this girl.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it would be fun to do, just to see how way off base
I
am.
I think we have generated at least a YouTube video, if not somehow its own series of you writing Star Wars Episode 9, because I want to know what happens. This sounds like the greatest concept, because, like, you don't have any of the, like, predisposition of what you want to see based on historical stuff. You're just writing, like, oh, I want this to happen because I saw it in that movie and I thought that was what was going to happen, and it didn't. That would be a great idea.
Maybe we can improvise that next Star Wars.
Yeah, we should do Star Wars Episode 9. You can be the director, so that we have to, like, at least take the lead on what characters are, like, now you two kiss. And then it's like, all right, I didn't think they'd do that because the one's good and bad, but now they're making out. And
now they're in a relationship, and this is who's going to die, and this is going to live.
Yeah, now they're in love. So, yeah, there was actually I mean, the prequels are just a nightmare. But actually, I think the most impressive thing I saw was a guy did that, where he after those had come out, he essentially just like stick drawing animations that he drew and narrated literally how he would have written it. Like, here's what I would have done differently for the first one. Now the second one. And by the second one, he's already changed enough stuff that it's not even close to the second movie, the second prequel. And then the third is so far like looks nothing like that movie, even as a concept. But I have to say, I watched those videos and legitimately thought I could not have faulted that script at all. Though his concept for what those three movies should have been, I think, were ironclad. There were maybe at the end, it kind of, the third one kind of fell off the rails. I don't remember what the guy's name is. Google it. Like how, not how they should have ended. That's a different series. It's like how the Star Wars prequels should have been written or something. Check it out, because that guy fixes the first movie so hard. And then the second movie was a brilliant concept. And the third gets a little, he loses his control of it a little bit at the end there. But I have to say, they were all better movies in his 20-minute description than all 6 hours.
So that'll be me. I'm going to write Star Wars 9, go to Comic-Con, have a panel discussion.
Yeah. And then here's the thing. People are going to be like, oh my God, somehow she wrote the best Star Wars movie ever. And
I will have $6 million. I'll be net worth will be $6 million. She
has not even seen more than the one episode. And then your net worth is at least $6 million.
Yeah. Me and Mark Hamill can go for a drink. And
yeah. He seems like a cool dude.
He does.
So I think he's nice in general, but he gets swamped by fans. I'm sure he's.
Isn't everyone nice though? I mean, I never get that concept. Isn't everyone generally nice? Has anyone ever punched you upon meeting you? No, like the first time I meet anyone, they're nice.
Well, I mean, celebrities.
Yeah.
Like if you met him like at a friend's house, I'm sure he'll be nice. But like I've heard like William Shatner is a real dick at Comic-Con. Like he just does not give a shit. He'll just like, no, fuck off. Like, I just does not deal with, like, I know nerds, you love me, get out of my face. Like, not quite that crass, but I've heard several of the nerd icons get a little salty because they're constantly mobbed by nerds asking extremely intricate, nuanced questions about why something happened in an episode of a 200 episode series. And
well, yeah, I tell them to F off too. I feel like
I feel like that's what happens to them. But yeah, they sometimes they get a little not nice because they get swamped constantly. But you know,
yeah. Maybe that could be my other job. I'll double as Mark Hamill's person. They can come to all their questions. They'll come to me. I think
you can do it. I think
I think I got this. This is easy. Yeah.
Maybe we should just have an Ask Shelley Star Wars questions series where people just can come on live on YouTube and just ask you questions about Star Wars and you answer them, because I feel like it really entertain people and blow some minds. For my end, I liked it, and I hate Star Wars now because it was ruined forever and ever. Like they just ruined it in so many ways. I think the first three, the original trilogy, was amazing because I was a kid and it was a space movie that was written and it was fun and cool. And so there was a lot of nostalgia. And then the prequel trilogy came out and made me want to kill myself or George Lucas or both, because they were so bad that they just ruined everything. And then episode 7 was garbage, total and complete garbage, because it was just episode 4 again, except with different named characters. It was the same movie. I was like, I've seen this movie the first time when it was called episode 4, A New Hope. This one, I've realized a few things in this that were very parallel but different. But I will say, I'll give Rian Johnson some credit here. I do like his work, so I'm a little biased. But I also like J.J. Abrams' work for the most part, so he got credit of thinking it may be awesome, and it wasn't. But this one I think was pretty good. I think it was a solid movie. I think it was I think Rogue One was a very good Star Wars movie as well. I think this one was probably equally enjoyable to watch. There was nothing that made me furious. And it had that super cool light speed Mon Calamari cruiser shredding through whatever the hell that new starship was called that wasn't a Star Destroyer. So yeah, I would say if you like Star Wars and for some reason hadn't seen this one like I hadn't, then I would say watch it. It's definitely worth it, and it won't make you furious. And I think you'll enjoy it. So I'm kind of half back on board to see what maybe episode 9 looks like, but I'm going to be cautious.
Especially when I write it, you're going to be...
When you write it, I don't know. If you write it, I'm there day one in the theater because this is going to be the greatest Star Wars.
It'll just be Neil in the theater.
Yeah, it'll be like, everyone else will be like, because the first scene will be like Kylo Ren being like, "I love you, Rey," and then people are like, "I'm at this trailer. I'm out. I can't do it." I'll be like, "I'm in. This is going to be great." It'll be like unlike any Star Wars movie you've ever seen.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so it was fun. It was worth it. I think it's worth a watch. I think that's it. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think anything else. Two Black Eyes Podcast at gmail.com, twoblackeyespodcast.com. I have been very lax in editing, so we had a very long break. But I'm going to get season 2 started soon. I've said that last time too and lied, but I'm going to get them out, but I'm going to go in some reverse orders because some movies that we did last week. The last time we did a movie, that movie is coming out on demand and DVD soon. So we'll get some extra internet buzz. So yeah, check us out. TB at TBE Pod on Instagram and Twitter. That sort of stuff. Let us know what you think. Oh, and definitely, if anyone listens to this and actually listens, do explain to me how the Empire seemed to be completely losing other than that first order seemed to be small in episode 7 and then somehow seemed to have taken over the entire galaxy by episode 8, and I didn't think that much time went by.
Oh, what's that thing called? Not uranium. That stuff in Black... never mind. It's lost. That stuff in Black... No, I was trying to cross-reference.
Vibranium? What?
Vibranium, yeah. I was going to say that.
What? They had vibranium? Is that...
They had vibranium. Can you not... Maybe. I guess Black Panther and Star Wars never meet, though. But... No.
Because Star Wars actually occurred like millennia ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's it's actually in the past. A long time ago in a galaxy far away. So it's actually in the past.
Yeah, wait till you see my version of it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Black Panther will be somewhere in there too.
That'll be awesome. I can't wait for the Star Wars Marvel crossover. I think Disney owns Marvel now, so you could do it technically. I think the copyright is all there. So
right, because that's what I'm missing is copyright. Yep. That's the only thing I was going to hold me back.
Hey, you got to abide by those copyright laws. You don't want to infringe Disney, they will kick your ass.
Yeah, they're coming after me for this.
They own pretty much everything. Also, I think they bought X. I think they got the rights to X. They have Spider-Man at least now. So I think if they had X-Men, you put Wolverine in there. Boom.
Oh, that's like next level. I don't know anything about Wolverine. I don't know.
See, people love Wolverine though.
But maybe I could like do a love triangle between Wolverine and Kylo and Rey. That would be.
Oh. I'm telling you. I'm just gonna say. I'm telling you, if you had a fight in a movie of Wolverine versus Kylo Ren, I think every nerd in the world would just immediately orgasm during that scene. Because honestly, the crazy thing is, I don't think his adamantium claws would actually get destroyed by the lightsaber, so he could legitimately fight him and win and potentially win. He does not need a lightsaber to beat him.
And that's the best part about this movie. People will be explaining it for me.
Exactly. God, I want to see that now. Someone write that script. Wolverine versus Kylo Ren. Done. All right. Check us out, guys. Keep on watching and look for the next ep. I don't remember whose call it is, but we'll figure it out. Together. That seemed aggressive. for being nice sounding. But all right, we're out.